Hail to legal warriors. In this video, I'm going to cover something very important. I'm going to cover why it is you do need to answer personal questions that your criminal defense attorney may ask you. It's very important for your defense. Actually, it's very important in any attorney-client relationship to get a good result for the client. So if you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm has been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. Now, as always, I'm just going to jump right into it. Personal questions. I've been an attorney for 30 years, and for the last 23 plus years, I've done criminal defense work. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes I'm asking personal questions to a potential new client on the phone, and they're very forthcoming. Sometimes people get very defensive. They go, why do you want to know that? Why do you care who I live with? Or why do you care, do I have a certain type of job? Why do you care about these things? I'm not going to tell you these things. I'm not going to tell you how I feel or what I was feeling at the time. And it's understandable that many of us are pretty guarded about what we share with a total stranger, right? If you're calling an attorney on the phone, we're a total stranger to you. Maybe we're not if you've seen the attorney on YouTube like me, or you've looked at some of the stuff on their website. But it's pretty scary for some people to have to answer personal questions that you're not expecting, right? If you get a DUI charge, you're probably only expecting how much did you have to drink and where were you driving and stuff like that. And, those are the bare basics of criminal defense work, but really good criminal defense attorneys want to know everything they possibly can about you, the client, right? We want to know, what got us to this position that we got charged with the crime, right? There's always going to be an explanation of how it is that we got into this hot water. There's may not be an excuse, but there may be an explanation. And turning our client's case from something that's black and white on a police report that the prosecutor has 100 of to something that's unique and specific to the humanity of our client is very, very important. And actually, more often than not, will make all the difference in the result of the case. So what type of questions might you be expected to answer from your attorney? Well, one of the questions that we ask all the time is, what type of stresses or pressures have you been under, right? Do you have a spouse at home? Do you have a partner at home? And do they know this happened? And what do they sound like? Are they supportive of you and saying, hey, you're going to get through this, honey? Or are they really difficult with you and are telling you your life is over? And we need to know that. So number one, we can support you throughout your case, okay? We also need to know what those stressors are. For example, I just was talking to a person who eventually became a client, and they were really dismissive when I asked them for their criminal charge. Hey, what's been going on in your life that led you to this situation? Have you been under some pressure? Oh, no, I'm not under any pressure. Well, how about any sicknesses or illnesses or deaths in the family? Well, as a matter of fact, Lance, my father died just a few months ago, and 6 months before that, my grandma died. Oh, and by the way, my spouse also got their hours way cut back, so I'm now the main support of the family. Wow, that's a totally different picture now, isn't it? Again, we're not talking an excuse, but there might be an explanation. Generally speaking, when someone who's law-abiding acts out of their normal character, what I've learned is it's typically that person may be trying to change sort of a bodily feeling that they have. If they steal something, sometimes theft causes a change in a bodily feeling. Sometimes we drink too much to change what we feel like. Sometimes we get angry, right? Because we bottle everything up. So that deaths in that family, including a father, and the new financial pressure on that person definitely will be something that we need to let the prosecutor know about. Because the prosecutor's not only looking at the four corners of the report if your attorney's doing a good job. They're learning about the client as an individual. And if they're under all these stresses that caused a crime or contributed to a crime, right? It's not the prosecutor's job to just put us in jail. It's not the prosecutor's job to just let us go. The literal job of the prosecutor, if we read everything in the ethics rules, is the prosecutor's job to do justice, right? Do justice. And what we would say as criminal defense attorneys is that justice needs to take into account the unique facts and circumstances of that particular client situation, right? That's a unique situation. And so maybe that client needs to get some grief counseling, right? Maybe that client needs to do some other things to deal with their stress. Therefore, they're going to be a better risk. There's going to be less likely to reoffend. And also, that should be taken into account, I think, when we look at what the penalty might be in the possible outcomes in a case where we have that type of background. It doesn't excuse things, but explaining things is valid, okay? And if your attorney's not asking you personal questions, such as what stressors are you under, what changes have gone on your life, they're really doing you a disservice because the reason why you get yourself an attorney is so you can be treated as an individual, right? Public defenders do the best job they can, but one of the downsides of a public defender is they have less time to treat each client as an individual. There are some great ones that do. If you're a public defender, I know you're doing a great job, but it's a harder job, right? And so you definitely want to be concerned if your attorney's not asking you some personal questions. What's some other things an attorney might have you do? Well, if you've been through something particularly stressful and involved multiple people, maybe not police officers, an assault case, or strangers with an assault, something like that, we might have you do a role reversal, right? And that's going to seem weird. It's going to seem personal. We might have you actually play the role of another person to describe yourself, right? So we can learn more about you. That's something that many attorneys learn in something called Trial Lawyers College, Jerry Spence's college. We might have you role reverse with the police officer, even in certain cases, so we can get a better description of what happened when you take the police officer's point of view. Because it's easy for clients to sort of clam up, right, and not want to give any information because it's embarrassing, right? You might be feeling judged, hopefully not by your attorney, but people feel that way, right? It might not be a socially or culturally acceptable to be open about these type of things. And so you have to resist that urge to shut down, because remember, whatever you tell your attorney is protected by attorney-client privilege, right? The attorney doesn't need to ask you permission to share any little thing to benefit your case with the prosecutor, but they can't go around talking to others about your case if you share some personal trauma, if you were a victim of abuse or a sexual assault or something that's led to this particular situation. Remember that you're protected, and most attorneys are going to be very sensitive about what they need to share to try to benefit your case with the prosecutor. They're not going to share it anywhere else. They're not allowed to, right? Some other personal questions that we often ask are, what are you afraid of in this case, right? What are your fears? You'd be surprised about the answers we get. Sometimes we'll get the standard answer, hey, I'm afraid of going to jail. But sometimes we'll get a different answer. I'm afraid what my son is going to think of me, right? And that's personal to share that, but that might be something we could point out to a prosecutor. Hey, this parent is more worried about what their kid is thinking about them than going to jail because they're feel bad about their actions and getting their DUI or who knows what. We also talk about frustrations. We might ask about, what frustrates you about the situation. And, that's when you just need to tell us, right? Tell us what frustrates you, and we can try to fix that. Sometimes it's a misbelief, right? A belief that I'm frustrated because I know I just ruined my life. Well, that's not accurate. And most always you have not ruined your life. But unless you're willing to share an answer to that personal question, the attorney is not going to be able to help you feel better. We also will talk about aspirations. Like, what do you want to achieve in life, right? I had a client give me a totally out of the blue answer once about wanting some type of career in entertainment. I think it was involving puppets. And let me tell you, that was pretty useful to know. It seems strange, but anything that humanizes a client to a prosecutor is going to make them stop and turn off their prosecutor pants and turn on their person pants. And so all these things are useful. So you don't want to be afraid to let your attorney get to know you and what you've been through. And especially if there's cultural differences, right? Perhaps you come from a country where if you were to call the police, then no one gets arrested, right? That the family police come and just talk about things. And maybe there's things that are embarrassing you don't want to share with your attorney about what the argument was about. Oftentimes it might be about childcare, or it could be about the dishes, or it could be even about matters of the bedroom, right? And if you hold stuff back from your attorney, you're putting one hand behind her back, so we're not able to help you. So you need to share those personal things. Again, it's protected, it's private, and if your attorney's any good, you're not going to feel judged, because if we're in the criminal business for a long time, and if we've lived for a long time, we've heard it all before. No one's special. No one is unique in what they've been through in life. We've all lived the same story, different versions, but we're all in that same human struggle. So again, what are the benefits? The benefits are you're letting your attorney know you. You're letting your attorney have the prosecutor know the parts of you that will be helpful for the prosecutor to know, to actually give you a better chance to get your case resolved in a way that you will like. If you shut up about it and you're not going to talk about it, you don't say anything, you're hurting your case, you're hurting your attorney's chances. If your attorney isn't asking you stuff like that, you need to get a new attorney, right? That's just all there is to it. You don't need a turnstile for an attorney, right? You don't need someone who is just black and white and a robot, because that's not how you get exceptional results in cases. You get exceptional results by using the legal problems, the factual problems, what the client's actions are after the event, and humanizing the client so we can understand what God is here, and based upon what God is here, what we need to do to make sure we never need to be here again, while also protecting our client's future and their record. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people will get to see it. More importantly, if you've got a criminal problem in Washington State, feel free to give my office a call. If we get on board, we'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.